Hi all, my name's Quinn. I'm 40 years old and boy oh boy do I have a compelling story to tell you. It was supposed to be a joyful day, a family gathering to celebrate our wedding anniversary. To celebrate, Oliver, my husband, and I decided to invite some family members to our home. Oliver and I were meant to spend some time at a spa getting ready for the festivities, whilst our friends and family set up our home to look spectacular for the momentous occasion. It was a quaint and cute idea, but unfortunately, my mother-in-law didn't think so. You see, my relationship with my mother-in-law was quite sour. Despite my best efforts to live amicably and peacefully with her, she was determined to insult and disparage me. Our relationship was basically a battlefield, with Hannah always relentlessly attacking my character and my worth. Unfortunately, this day, although it was a special occasion, was no exception to Hannah's deviousness. Once Oliver and I were done being pampered at the spa, we were ready to take on the day and enjoy ourselves with some family members in our lovely home. Of course, I was apprehensive of Hannah's potential antics, but I was hopeful that things would be better, at least on my anniversary, right? Wrong. As Oliver and I walked into our home, I couldn't shake off this certain chill in the air. Something was definitely amiss. Instead of being greeted with warm smiles and hugs and confetti, it appeared as though the friends and family who were present had just welcomed some strange alien creatures into the home. They were giving us cold and weird stares. Moreover, with more inspection, it turned out that the weird stares were only pointed in my direction. And it also seemed that the person with the coldest and harshest stare was coming from none other than my lovely mother-in-law. Oh, guys, look, it's time for us to welcome the adorable couple. Hannah, is everything all right? You seem different today. Is something bothering you? What's going on, everybody? Is no one going to congratulate us on our anniversary? Oh, darling, I wish I could congratulate you, but I'm afraid that we can't do that. Why not? Because Quinn is a thief. Excuse me? You heard me. You're a thief. Mom, what's going on? First, she stole you away from me, and now she's stolen this house. What? I was completely gobsmacked. Just what on earth was she thinking? Mom, what are you saying right now? This is my home, Ollie, and as such, Quinn can't be here. What on earth is going on with you? Why would you say such an awful thing? I thought that we would be welcomed kindly to enjoy our anniversary as a community. But clearly I was wrong. I knew that your negative energy would ruin everything. Huh. Get over yourself, Quinn. You have no right to be upset. I'm the one who should be throwing more of a fit here. Mom, I'm not sure what's going on, but please let's talk about this someplace private. No, don't bother. I've already told the people here everything. I told them the whole truth, and they agree with me. They believe that this house is mine, just as you promised me, Ollie. What? I can explain all of this, Quinn, trust me. What is there to explain? This house is mine, and as such, I need to impose some rules here. Quinn, you are no longer welcome in my house. What? What is the meaning of this? You have two options. I'm giving you an ultimatum. You can either leave this house right, or get a divorce and give me back my son. It's up to you. I simply couldn't believe what I was hearing. How could she be so cruel? I turned to Oliver and gave him a bewildered look, but he just returned the same look of discombobulation my way. Listen, Mom, I want to try and salvage this day, all right? It's supposed to be a great celebration, and I don't want your craziness ruining things. Craziness? Well, I never. We've only got the photographers and caterers here for a short period. Please, let's all settle down, and maybe once we have some nice pictures and some good food in our system, we can talk about this more calmly. Although the tensions were already high, and it seemed like Hannah and I were about to recreate some scene from WWE SmackDown, I was glad that Oliver did his best to dissolve the situation. He was right. The people we paid for were expensive, and we couldn't afford to dilly-dally, especially with Hannah's stupid outburst. We went outside and we tried to enjoy the setting around us. It was beautiful. We had our wedding colors all around us to remind us of that very special day. The photographer tried to capture some beautiful moments of us playing games, eating, and communing with one another. But once the pictures were inspected, you could almost always see a scowling Hannah in the fore or background, dampening the mood with her apparent pettiness and hatefulness. As the evening unfolded, Hannah's true colors became more evident. The icy glances, the dismissive remarks. She had always been distant, but tonight she took it to a whole new level. I couldn't understand what I had done to deserve such treatment, but I heeded my husband's words and tried to continue to have a decent time. The rest of the friends and family members who had joined us also seemed to let go of whatever angst and tension they had, and they were also enjoying the festivities. But yet again, it appeared as though Hannah wasn't interested at all. The celebration was slowly coming to an end, and the people we hired packed their things and left. It also goes without saying that the festivities were cut a bit short, considering the fiasco that happened at the beginning of the event. But I was glad that Oliver and I did our best to salvage any good parts out of it, and overall I had somewhat of a decent time, all things considered. But it was time to address the very big elephant in the room. I took the initiative and approached Hannah about what happened earlier. Hannah, I've been trying my best to build a relationship with you. I've reached out and invited you to spend time together, but it feels like you're pushing me away at every turn. What have I done to deserve this hostility? You really don't get it, do you? Let me spell it out for you. Quinn, my son bought this house for me, not for you. You were never meant to be a part of this family. As I stood there absorbing her hurtful words, my mind flashed back to all the instances where Hannah's animosity had seeped into our lives. The snide remarks, the undermining comments, she had always made it clear that she saw me as an outsider, an intruder in her son's life. And now that she was under the impression that this house belonged to her, she thought that she could do whatever she wanted. But there was one missing piece of this puzzle, and that was Oliver. Hannah kept on saying that Oliver got this house for her, so we obviously had to involve him in the equation. Hannah and I both beckoned to Oliver, who was chatting with some relatives. I assume he was doing a bit of damage control so that they wouldn't tell other relatives what they witnessed today. He jogged over to us, and that, my friends, was the beginning of a very shocking series of events unfolding. We need to talk about what happened today, Mom. That was not cool. What do you mean? You literally told me that this house is mine. I have zero recollection of me telling you that, Mom, and you know it. Oliver, that night you were drunk, but I'm sure you remember you said that this house is mine and that I could do whatever I wanted with it. Again, Mom, I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I give you this house? Gee, I don't know. Maybe because you love me? Of course I love you, Mom, but the way you tried to embarrass us this morning is not cool. On our anniversary, Hannah? Oh, don't you speak. Do you think you have a say in anything, especially on my property? I could call the police and get you kicked out for trespassing. I already told you before, it's either you get out or you get a divorce. Mom, why are you insisting on kicking her out? Even if it was your house, which it isn't. Why do you want her out of here so badly? Because she disgusts me. I mean, just look at her. I don't want her here. You don't want me here? Fine, let me pack my things. Babe, wait. No, I'm sick of waiting. You're also to blame for this, Oliver. I don't know what your mother is talking about, but it seems like you had a heavy hand to play in her acting so entitled like this. And what's worse, you've been complicit in the abuse I've received from her, and you've done nothing about it. What do you mean? What am I supposed to do? Cut her off. Get a restraining order. You think you can get rid of me so easily? You think that Oliver would do such a thing to his mother? You must have lost your mind. Go and pack your things as you said. Chop, chop. I began to walk away, furious at how my life turned out. I had a witch for a mother-in-law and an idiot for a husband. Perhaps this was a blessing in disguise because I seriously needed to leave once and for all. As I walked inside the house, the pain and embarrassment from years of harassment began to course through me, and my heart sank. That woman really did hate me, and I didn't even know why. I had poured my heart and soul into this marriage, trying to create a sense of unity and love. And now she gave me this stupid ultimatum? As someone who doesn't believe in divorce, it was very hard to even entertain that option, especially when leaving her house just seemed easier. I was sick and tired of all the noise. I had to leave, at least to keep whatever peace was left in this place. Tears were streaming down my face as I packed my belongings. It was going to be a long night of weeping and packing, but I was determined to get it done ASAP so that I wouldn't have to see that woman's face for a minute longer. I made my way to the study room, collecting all of my documents, books, and files, when I stumbled across the deed to the house. I was shocked. I was wondering why it was out in the open so casually and carelessly. But thank God it was, because as I scanned the documents, I came across something very interesting. I stopped packing, decided that this was way too important, and I found Oliver and Hannah, who were still outside arguing about everything. I still don't know what you're talking about, Mom. I never gave this house to you. Yeah? Then why do the documents say otherwise? Which documents? These. From the distance, I could see Hannah searching her purse for something, but she was unable to find it. Are you looking for these? I held up the documents, making my presence known. She sent me a scowl, but I returned the gesture with extra ferocity, which took her aback. She was so used to my nice demeanor, but I was done playing the nice guy. It was time for me to claim what was rightfully mine. You see, I've gone through these documents, and there's nothing that entails that you are the owner of this house. In fact, it's only Oliver and I's names on the documents. What? That's impossible. Oliver told me. Whatever he told you clearly wasn't correct, because I have the real papers right here. Go on, look for yourself. Read it and weep. Hannah snatched the papers from me and scanned them viciously, scanning over and over again for a hint or a glimmer of her name somewhere. But alas, she was wrong. There was no mention of her anywhere. What? I don't feel so good. To my Oliver's and the remaining guests at the function's surprise, Hannah's eyes rolled to the back of her head, and she had lost her balance. She fainted. She hit the ground and was knocked out cold. We all gasped, and Oliver picked her up and put her inside the house. We did our best to fan her and keep her cool so that she could wake up, and after about a minute or so, she began to regain consciousness. What happened? Where am I? You passed out from the shock of realizing the truth. You did this to me. I didn't do anything to you. I just showed you the truth. Let me get you some water, and when I come back, we are settling this dispute once and for all. Oliver went to the kitchen while I said goodbye to our remaining guests after they ensured that Hannah was okay. We had a long night ahead of us, and we were determined to get to the bottom of everything. Okay, Mom, here you go. Now please tell us everything that you know. It was the night of the Christmas party that we had a couple of months ago. You were drunk. He wasn't drunk. He was completely wasted. He couldn't even remember his name. Okay, fine, whatever. He was wasted, and he told me that he loved me so much that he wanted us to be closer. Everyone says that when they're drunk, Mom. Yes, I know, but you were talking about giving me gifts. Okay, what gifts exactly? You were promising to give me trips to the Maldives, Morocco, and Fiji. You also said that you'd buy me a new air fryer, and you also said that you were gifting me this house. You mean to tell me that your antics today were all based on promises that were made when Oliver was absolutely sloshed? Are you insane? Those don't count. Oliver looked confused, like he was racking his brain for all the possible answers. And then he had a look of clarity. Mom, I'm beginning to remember that night now, and I remember saying that I'd give you gifts, yes. Ha! You see? I also remember saying I'd give you a house. Double ha! But I didn't say that I'd give you this house. What? I told you that I'd give you a house, not this house. And I made that very clear as well. I don't remember that. Well, let's jog your memory a bit then. I ran upstairs to access the security camera footage, and I brought it back down for Oliver to check out. He accessed the footage from the Christmas party, and lo and behold, there was the evidence. There was a very drunk Oliver holding on to his mother, promising her that he would buy her many things, including a house. Oliver's mother then said, "You said you'd get me a house. Will it be this house?" "No, not this house. Where would I and Quinn live?" "You can take the other house, darling. I want this house." "I'll get you a house, okay, a house. And I'll make sure I put my name on the deed for this house." "What?" "Oh, nothing, dear. I think you need to head to bed." We looked up from the iPad to see Hannah looking very sheepish, like a child who's been caught shoplifting. "So, what do you have to say for yourself, Hannah?" I can't. Wait, if you knew all along that this was your plan, then why were you so shocked that you fainted? Was that all part of your plan to garner sympathy and attention? You weren't even fast enough. How could you let your mother fall to the floor? Unbelievable. I've had enough of your antics, Mom. You've taken this way too far. You think that that's okay? To toy and manipulate people like that? Ollie, baby, don't baby me. You deliberately ruined our anniversary all because you want this house. Well, you're never gonna get it. What about the other house? You're not getting that either. In fact, you're not gonna get anything from me anymore. I'm removing you from my will. Hannah and I both gasped in unison. It was so shocking to hear Oliver so angry. He'd never been this angry before. Quinn, I am so sorry that I wasn't adamant enough with my mother. I really didn't know that her hatred ran this deep. Oliver, that's no way to speak to your mother. You're in my house, so shut up. Babe, you don't have to apologize. Yes, I do. I didn't do enough, but that all changes right here, right now. Oliver kicked his mother out of the house, and all the while she was flabbergasted at her son's behavior. She was so used to him groveling at her feet that this was certainly something that shocked her. Him standing up for himself. Oliver, fueled by anger and disappointment, made his bold decision to remove Hannah from the house and even remove her from his will. True. The very next day, he met with the family lawyers to make sure that this change was being processed. It was a necessary step to protect our future and to ensure that justice was served. As the days unfolded, Hannah's bitterness and desperation became evident. She attempted to reach out to Oliver incessantly, bombarding him with phone calls and messages, but Oliver, steadfast in his decision, ignored her attempts to manipulate him once again. He vowed to shield me from any more malicious attacks orchestrated by Hannah or anyone else who dared to harm us. Meanwhile, I reveled in the newfound peace and security of our home. No longer did I have to endure Hannah's constant presence, her belittling remarks, and her attempts to undermine our happiness. The house became a sanctuary, a symbol of our triumph over her deceit. Hannah, on the other hand, found herself in a state of bitter defeat, sulking in the aftermath of her exposed lies. She was left to ponder the consequences of her actions. The house, once envisioned as her domain, now stood as a monument to her deception. It was a fitting reminder of the price she paid for her treachery. In the grand scheme of things, justice had been served. Hannah had been stripped of her false sense of entitlement, while Oliver and I forged ahead, determined to build a future rooted in honesty, communication, compassion, love, and trust. Our bond grew stronger, forfeited by the shared experience of overcoming adversity. As time went on, Hannah's attempts to reconcile were met with resolute silence from Oliver. He remained true to his promise of protecting me, ensuring that we could move forward without the looming shadow of her manipulations. It was a promise he kept with unwavering determination. Today, I find solace in the comfort of our home, the home that was meant to be a haven for us. Every corner holds memories of our love and resilience, serving as a constant reminder of the victory we achieved. Hannah's presence is nothing more than a distant memory, fading into the background as we embrace the life we have created. Oliver's resolve to protect me never wavered. He stood as a pillar of strength, shielding me from any potential harm that Hannah might still attempt to inflict upon us. He made it clear to her, and to anyone who dared to question our unity, that we were a united front, a force to be reckoned with. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, Hannah's attempts to reconcile with us diminished. She slowly realized that her deceit and ill intentions had driven an irreparable wedge between us. The consequences of her actions had left a lasting mark on her own life, and she was left to grapple with the bitter aftermath. Meanwhile, our home flourished with love and laughter. The wounds inflicted by Hannah's hurtful words began to heal, replaced by an atmosphere of acceptance and support. Oliver's unwavering commitment to our happiness was evident in every action and every word. Together, we maintained this sanctuary, a place where we could thrive and grow, untouched by the toxicity of the past.